This is Janine Smith with a Restoration Quick Tip. I was sent this photo by my friend Ken, and he wanted to know how he could improve this. He just wanted a couple tips on how he could improve this photo. Well, the thing is, this is in great shape. This photo is in wonderful shape. It's just got a little bit of a tonality problem. It's faded a little bit to the browns, but it's just in really good shape. So all we want to do is enhance certain areas. The first thing you'd be inclined to do is to go up to curves or levels and maybe take the eyedropper, find a darker space, maybe take the light, find a whiter space, and that looks really pretty bad and ruined what was a good photo. It brought out some textures here that aren't good. It's just a horrible color. Everything just goes into one another and it's not a good look. So let's get rid of that. You should definitely try the tried and true, like the curves and the levels, the overall curves and levels, but don't always stick with them. Sometimes, like I said, you just want to enhance certain areas. So the first thing we'll do is duplicate the background layer with Control or Command J. Then we'll go over to our layer blend modes and choose Multiply. See, it just deepens some tones here. It still looks really good. And if you go down here to opacity, choose about 50%, it just darkens it up a little bit and looks pretty good. Now we want to bring out some other tones because, as you can see, her hair and the cabinet still kind of blend in one another. We just want to bring some things out. The focal point, the main focus of the picture, the people. So go up here to curves, and what we're going to do is bring the histogram down toward the lower right to deepen the tones. And it does, you can mess with the opacity so it doesn't have to be in a perfect area. You just want to make it darker. Now we want to invert the mask. And if black is your background color, you will do Control or Command I to invert. If it was your foreground color, you do Alt or Option backspace to invert that. Next, we go over and make sure our brush is selected. And then you start to just paint in the areas you want to darken up. Now, this isn't going to be perfect for this tutorial, but I think you'll get an idea of what we're doing. And I'm not just going to do the hair, I'm also going to bring out some other areas that I'd like to be a little distinguished. I want to darken up the little boy's jumpsuit a bit. And maybe even the shirt, because it's awfully light. You can adjust your brush as you go. And just paint in those areas that you want to distinguish just a bit. Now you might think this actually will blend this in more with the background, the white shirt, but it's not going to after you get the opacity in, I don't believe. Of course, I could be wrong. I have been before. Now I want to clean that up a little bit. Just go over. It's the joy of masks. You can take out anything just by inverting your color. And masks are wonderful things. Or the brush opacity. I mean, not the brush opacity, the brush size. And let's get a little bit up here on his hair. I'm also going to do the eyeballs, mouth. Of course, this looks really bad right now, but won't always. Just the areas you'd like a little distinguishing color variation. Now, while this mask is selected, go up here to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. Let's bring this down a little bit. We just want to make sure that it's blended a little. Blur just a tiny bit to blend. so there's not that hard edge there, and hit OK. I did about 4.5, but that's relative to what you have, that it's a nice blur there. Hit OK. And then we're going to take the opacity down again to around 50 or so. There. And see that, just distinguish that a bit. It still looks very good and realistic, and there's not a hard edge. You can even bring that down lower if you think that looks a little much, which I happen to. Get down around 32. There, I like that. That looks good. And see, that just brings the people out to more of the focus, which they should be. They're not blending into the background so much. And it just took a so-so photo that still looked great and made it even better. So thanks for joining me for this restoration quick tip, and I'll see you next time on TipSquirrel.com.